All right, I call this meeting to order. City Council meeting, Boardman of City Hall, 7 p.m. November 7th, 2023. We'll stand and do the flag salute. We got a little echo, I think. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll do a roll call. Looks like we're just missing one person. She's on profit, but she's dead. So she's online. We'll go to approval of minutes, October 3rd, 2023, regular meeting.
I move to approve the minutes of regular meeting for October 3rd, 2023.
I'll second.
I got a motion in a second. Is there any discussion about the minutes? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Approval of minutes, November 1st, 2023, our council workshop.
I move to approve the November 1st, 2023 council workshop minutes.
I second it.
Okay, I got a motion in a second. Is there any discussion?
Yes, the under count return, I'm missing off of that list.
Okay, so we still want that motion with the minutes. You agree to that?
Yes.
Okay, and you agree to
Yes.
second?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Okay. So we'll go to our formal proceedings, public hearing, surplus of real property.
Okay. Ready? You see that? Okay, so this is the property over off the Tower Road. The 307 acres, just to give a little history. Karen can correct me. It was purchased originally for an extra site for lagoons. Is that correct? Yeah, I think it was. So that is not needed anymore. Talking to our engineers, even the angle and the direction and how to do that, it just doesn't make any sense. So for potential, what's the word? Thank you. For potential development, I'm requesting that we surplus that thing.
Okay, so we'll just go right into the public hearing. The public hearing on declaring surplus real property located on parcel 1 of partition plat 2014-5 in the county of Morrow and state of Oregon. This property is approximately 307 acres located on Tower Road is called to order. The public hearing this evening will be conducted as follows. There will be a staff report. Then there will be public testimony in the following order. Any testimony in support of the application, any testimony opposing the application, any neutral testimony, and if needed, the applicant's rebuttal. Then we'll close the public testimony. After the record is closed for testimony, no other testimony will be heard from anyone unless the city council has a specific question. The city council may ask questions of staff, after which the city council will discuss the matter and make a decision. The city council may make a final decision tonight, or the matter may be continued to a time and date certain in the future. If the matter is continued, this will be the only notice of that time and date you will receive. If you wish to speak, please fill out a testimony form and submit it to the city recorder. I will recognize those people wishing to speak. Any questions should be addressed through me. Please state both your name and address for the record when you come to the podium. as the hearing is being recorded. Please keep testimony concise and to the point. Testimony should be on the action under consideration and address the substantive criteria. Now I ask the members of the city council to disclose any ex parte contacts, bias, or conflicts of interest. Please indicate the nature and extent of the ex parte contact, bias, or conflict of interest, and indicate whether you intend to participate in or abstain from the hearing. Is there anybody that wishes to abstain from this? Does anyone in the audience wish to challenge a city council impartiality concerning this public hearing? City Manager Brandon Hammond will be presenting the staff report.
Okay, so again, it was originally designed for the lagoon. There's not a need for that. Logically, through our engineer, it doesn't make sense, and it's just for development purposes, future development purposes.
Is there any additional correspondence beyond those items included in the staff report?
No.
Okay. Does anyone wish to speak in favor of the application? Does anyone wish to speak against the application?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Stephen Fuss would like to
Okay.
speak.
Mr. Fuss, you are welcome to speak.
Cool, thank you. So I think this is a great idea. Because if we continue to develop housing, and continue to work towards affordable housing, that would be a great use of that land, especially if you as the city council and Mr. Hammond as the city manager work together, which it seems like y'all are doing very well. So yeah, I'm for it.
Thank you, Mr. Fuss. Was there anybody else online that was willing to? And was there anyone that wishes to speak against the application? Does anyone have neutral testimony they would like to share? The public testimony portion of this hearing is now closed. But it doesn't look like the staff needs to respond to a question or issue raised by the testimony. Does the city council have any questions of the staff? All right, having hearing none, I'll entertain a motion. Or is that later? That's later.
Yes, we have it down.
That's like public hearing. Well, so we'll do our formal proceedings, doing our resolutions. That's where we'll do the motion. Okay, so we'll go on to introductions, new city employees.
New city employees, I appreciate your patience. Do we want them to come stand out?
Yes,
All right. Let's
yes.
stand out. So, as they're approaching, we do have, Leticia Hernandez. She has, some family matters, so she could not be here. But just to give, she's been a resident for about 23 years, Leticia, in Boardman. Just right there, you're good. And Letty will be our new HR payroll. Next we have Nancy Oriana. She is our associate or assistant planning official. She has been in Boardman since 2018, working at Bella Vista, managing that property and several others, and she has recently moved to Boardman in February. We have Amanda Nichols. She is our new city clerk. She is a longtime resident, Morrow County RHS graduate. And we are excited to have everyone here on the city. So please welcome our new staff.
Thank you and welcome to the city. That you new to the city, but working at the city. Financial report, month ending August 2023.
You have that in front of you. We did receive, we start. Okay, I think now you can hear me. The report is in front of you. In August, we did start receiving some of our franchise fees. We tend to get these, everybody has to check the last day of July, so by the time they come, it's August in our cycle. And then you're gonna notice that for our capital project fund, it says that we're over budget for revenues. That was all the timing that had to do with our actual cash carryover from last budget year. And, what we had budgeted and the timing of the payments. Which also goes with transferring funds from our state pool account to our checking account and cutting those checks. But understand these are big checks going out for our construction. We haven't had any issues. They are all going great. We did have our final payment out to Lane Construction, and that escrow account has been closed. So all those projects have been moving along very well. We're very pleased with how that's going, including our expansion. We're all excited with that. Every now and then, we hear more bangs and yells than usual, but, I guess that just means we're working extra hard. And our interest rates, are going up. They did try to slow down how fast the interest rates are going up, but they will be increasing through the end of the year for sure.
Can I ask a question? So when you're speaking about the building being in that, are you talking about August or are you talking about something that's more current than August?
Just the building expansion piece?
Well, then you kind of glossed over a lot of the construction that we're having right now.
It's been the same, August, September, October, our projects have been moving steadily, we haven't had any issues, so through August, we didn't have any issues, they've been moving, and if we wanted to say as of today, we still haven't had any major issues.
So when did you cut Lane's check?
Lanes check,
Is it in August or would it be in September or October?
oh, okay, that piece, that one was cut at the beginning of September, but all the work had been completed in August.
But my question really is, I guess, is when I see 932,000 as an expense, I was curious if Lane's was part of that, or if that's more like R&D.
Yeah, that's, there is a Lane one in there, there's not their final one, because that one was cut at the beginning of September.
Who's Lane? When she
Lane
talks,
Christensen, they did phase one of the water system improvement.
They did that.
gotcha. So you're talking water there. Off the water project.
Well, I'm really talking bond money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
But, gotcha.
Well, see, I see 35,000, and so I'm sure that's interest is income. So that's
Yes.
making me happy.
So when I see the 15, so I'm looking at building fund, because that's where the new expansion's coming from, right?
Mhm.
So when I look and I see it's like $3.3 million, that's amount that we've spent on what we have so far. So when I go from the budgeted amount of 15.6 to our fund balance of 12.3, I just subtracted, so that would be like 3.3 is what we paid so far for.
15.6 is our budget,
Mhm.
but our beginning was actually 11.8.
Don't look at the
Uh-oh.
budget.
Okay, so our beginning was 11.8. Okay, and our balance has just gone up. So how do we pay for that building? Just as it goes or at the end or?
As we receive, there is quite a process, so usually, the contractor will submit their invoices saying, here's what we have, the work we've done for the month, the materials that we bought. That usually goes to our architect or engineer, depending on the project, who the project manager is. They verify that, yep, that's about right. And then they'll send that for our city manager to sign off on, and then it comes to me to be processed. So just kind of depends on how long it
Because they
takes.
really haven't been asking for much money because our funds are going up
Well, look, they,
Well, with that.
11 to 12, so I mean, so they must not be asking for very much. Am I just reading it wrong, or?
No, so if you look at the expenditures, there was no check for them for construction, because that was only 72,005.
Oh, so I guess I could look at year to date expenditures, that's that number right there, 699.
Mhm. And that's gonna have, since this is August and our fiscal year begins in July, that have only one payment application in there.
Oh, that's right, because we're in a new year.
Mhm.
I got
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Thanks, Marta.
Mhm.
Are there any other questions?
oh, thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right, so now we get to go to the fun part, the prearranged presentation. I'm really excited about this because the council started something new, trying to get some of our kids in our area to start presenting what's going on at Windy River, what's going on at Sam Boardman, and what's going on at the high school. And unfortunately, we don't have the high school tonight. But we will have a presentation from Windy River Elementary, and Bella Bronze is going to be our spokesperson today. So if you want to go over by the microphone and I'll tell Ms. Scanlon so you can get your public speaking signed off.
Good evening. Windy River Elementary has had a busy start to the school year. In October, Windy River ASB successfully put on a Red Ribbon Week events. These events have included dress-up days, an assembly with Officer Rosen talking about safety, mini games at the assembly, and a coloring contest. We have a few events coming up that we're excited for in November, Monday. Monday, November 13th is World Kindness Day. We are celebrating with a coloring contest and encouraging students to write a kind note to someone. We are also planning an assembly to put on before Thanksgiving break, which will include Mr. Scheller, interviews a successful community member, and plays a series of mini games as a grade level competition. Thank you for your time.
Before you go, Bella, does anybody have any questions? Any comments?
Good job.
Good job. Are you gonna do a Veterans Day?
Veterans Day.
Sam Boardman will be doing the Veterans Day on Thursday. Mr. Scheller did say that he would at some point like to do one at Windy River, but that would be coinciding with Sam Boardman to be able to, because it'd be hard to have two. But Mr. Scheller would like to have one that would combine both schools. But that's in the early planning.
Trick, thank you for coming. Trick question, huh?
Good job, Bella. Good job.
Yeah, I do want to say you didn't even look nervous. You did a great job.
All right, the next part, we have presentation of Ethan Salata. You didn't bring your wife? She texted me and wanted to know when and why, and
I was here to.
you got your dumb friend. You take a picture?
I am.
Yeah.
Without his hat.
Unfortunately, yes. So this is a certificate of appreciation to Ethan Salata for his time and effort on the planning commission. And as mayor, I'd like to thank you for your work and everything you did.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Good. All right, make sure, oh, it's right there.
Thank you very much.
All right. So we're in the section for the other public comment. All right, so Interested audience members are invited to provide comments. Anyone may speak on any topic other than a matter in litigation, a quasi judicial land use matter, or a matter scheduled for public hearing at some future date. The mayor may limit comments to 3 minutes per person for a total of 30 minutes. And please complete a request to speak prior to the meeting, and speakers may not yield their time to others. So, Mr. Tallman, you have filled out a public comment as far as transparency.
Yes, so, one thing that's really confusing is a public comment section, but we have to fill out that before we do it, before the meeting starts, correct?
Or obviously in Boardman, because we don't have so many, if somebody wished to give a public,
But you asked me before we got to the meeting.
I just asked you to make sure you filled one out, because you got here and were able to fill one out.
Okay, so, but not everybody that's new is aware of that transparency start there.
That's kind of why I brought it up, to let everyone know that if they did fill one out, they would be allowed to speak.
Okay.
I just want to give them that opportunity.
Yeah, and this is the issue that I have, is, again, transparency is very big with me, especially when it affects, citizens and tax-paying people that vote here. And, well, the issue that I have is, when we do things, we need to be transparent as possible as far as what is being shown and what is actually being done. And not being able to say certain things is very important, okay? When we have those issues that come up, all right, as far as the transparency, not knowing the process and how it works is very frustrating on the whole thing. And same thing like with this meeting and the DLCD, and how the process works as far as the timeline of the meetings and when they happen and how they happen. I know a lot of you people don't understand, and I'm probably talking in code, but I have to talk around it because there is no transparency about what really needs to be shown, okay? And to me, that is sad on the whole process. But I think it's very important that we ask questions of how and why, and that when people vote and when they go to the planning commission or voted on, that we do research and show with evidence, with documentation of what's really being said, not just the outskirts of the fuzzy stuff of how things seem to be running. So again, I know that doesn't make any sense what I just said, but understanding and asking questions at a later date is very important. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tallman. All right, so now we're at the resolutions. This is where we get to entertain a motion as far as declaring surplus property.
I move to adopt,
Excuse me,
oh, sorry.
Mr. Hammond.
Yeah, you're good, sorry.
Thank you, ladies. And Gavin, thank you. And Dan, yeah. Okay,
Okay, I move to adopt resolution number 20-2023, a resolution declaring surplus real property located on parcel 1, petition plat 2014-5 in the county of Morrow and the state of Oregon.
I second that motion.
yeah, I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion that anybody would like to have over this? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thanks, Brenda. Okay, motion carries.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Fuss asked to speak in public comment.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry. I
Just
think
say-
there might be a lag in my connection.
All right, Mr. Bush, thank you for wanting to share. I apologize for not being able to see your request for public. So in all fairness, I think it's important to allow you to speak as well.
Cool, thank you. So I don't know what department would do this, but is it possible for the city to put in a street lamp on the 1, 2, 3, 4th telephone pole that is right next to the new street crossing on Northeast Columbia Avenue? Because walking there in the morning and in the dark, it's not a well-lit crosswalk, because the distance between the crosswalk and the nearest street lamp is too far for that street lamp to illuminate it well enough for cars to be able to see a person moving through the intersection, even if the flashing lights are flashing. For example, I almost got hit the other night in that intersection because a driver was not like either paying attention or could not see me. Granted, I was wearing dark clothes and should have had some sort of light, but also like it needs to be a better lit intersection, especially with the amount of pedestrian population we have in Boardman. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bus, because I know exactly the crosswalk that you were talking about. So
Yep,
thank you.
right next to the high school. You're welcome.
So we'll go to the other business update, bank signers.
I moved to update, are you? Oh, let me, while I read, so, we, have recently wanted to update the bank signers to add, manager Brandon Hammond. And then we had Isaac, resign, and so rather than submit that to the bank and then have to do this again this month and resubmit, and so we're doing it now. So I, asked the council if they would make a motion to remove Isaac Williams as a bank signer from all the, bank accounts of the city of Boardman and add Brandon Hammond and Ethan Silva.
I move to update the bank signers and custodians of the city bank accounts to include city manager Brandon Hammond, Mayor Paul Kiefer, and councilors Heather Baumgartner, Christina Suarez, Karen Pettigrew, Brenda Prophet, Richard Walker, and Ethan Solana.
I'll second that.
A motion and second, actually, I'll go discussion. Any discussion?
Do we need to add that part about removing Isaac to this? So I think at the end of that, we need to add that,
And removing,
just because it doesn't.
And removing Isaac Williams.
so we're gonna amend our motion.
Amend our motion to include, in addition to remove Isaac Williams as a bank signer and or custodian of the city bank.
And who seconded that?
I did.
Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. Any other question? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We're at the other part of business, appoint a planning commissioner for the planning commission. So what I'd like to say is welcome. I appreciate everyone who applied. We have 4 people who have asked. So the ones that are here, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself and just, again, speaking to the council as why would make you a good fit or whatever. I'm stumbling to be able to public speak and tell us why we should choose you. Maybe I'll just be blunt.
Really?
Looks like it's David, right? Yes, please. Because we read your application or letter to, but if there's, something to personalize it as far as just like.
My name's David Landstrom. I'm actually a new resident of Boardman, moved here a year ago. Come from Portland, have been involved with a lot of different changes in the city of Portland that have come up. Plus being a building owner in the city of Portland, resident there. Just transitions that come up to create livability as well as understanding that industry needs to occur as well. So having opportunity to do that, and participate in a lot of different subcommittees, within the Portland metro area. I was looking at livability and participating in those. I felt with the planning commission, that would be a great way to lead into civic responsibility and offer something to the community I live in.
Thank you.
Ever?
It does.
Is there a time that we'll ask questions or? You have questions we're asking.
I would say that, if you had questions, then we could ask each person. It wasn't gonna be like an interview process, but if we want to have, questions, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Now, or later?
How about we do after, the introductions, and then we could ask a question. If a counselor has a question that they would like to ask, I think that would be appropriate. Mr. Akers?
Yeah, David Akers, 45 plus year member of the community, live just south of town on Falcon Road, so I'd be in the out of town, seat for this appointment. My resume says it all. I didn't come here planning on speaking, but I'm eager to just get in the community and participate in the growth and all the great things we've seen in our area. Any questions, I'll be happy to answer them, but my resume says, I just did letter, I guess I did just do a letter of interest, correct?
Right, it was 2 pages, I do believe that you had a lot of good stuff in there. It just kind of,
Well, I served on the executive boards for the International Union of Operating Engineers 701. And that's all, pretty much everything this side of the Cascade Range was my jurisdiction. And I represented the members of that area, and it impacted, it gave me a lot of knowledge that I could pass on as a planning department member. My infrastructure and construction background would also be invaluable to share on the planning board, so. Any questions? Happy to answer.
thank you, Mr. Akers. Is it Janine?
Yes, it's
Dilly?
Janine.
Janine Dilly, is she here?
She's not, I don't see her here.
Is she online? And then we had Jamie Carberry. And she's not here, and I didn't see her online either. All right, questions. We'll start with Ms. Pettigrew.
I just was, when, Mr. Landstrom said that he had been here. Have you been here a year?
I have.
You've lived in Boardman a year? Your
Yes.
residency is here? Okay.
Did anybody else have a question? They only wanted to ask you, sorry.
Do I feel like I've just been here a long time?
Well, no, but you just said that you just kind of like moved here, and so I thought, well, I thought I'd seen you around the community.
Because we live here, right?
Yeah. No, but it's important to fill the 1-year requirement, I think, before, so.
All right, so what you have in front of you is you have a ballot with the 4 of them. And you're gonna choose for 2, vote for 2.
So, Mr. Mayor, actually you have 2 ballots because it's 2 different terms. One ends in 24 and one ends in 25. So we would all need to pay attention to.
That would be important. I didn't
Yes,
catch the date on it.
yes. Because we need to know who's getting appointed to which term ending. So that's why there's 2 ballots with the same names. You don't vote twice, but just one on each term ending. And it's written right at the top.
Mayor?
Yes,
Yeah, this
Yes.
is Carla McLean, your planning official. The other point of clarification that I want to make, and it doesn't matter which position this happens in, but if you make a choice for someone to serve in one of those positions that is from outside of the city limits, you can only do that once. So the way the municipal code is written for planning commission is that there are 7 members. 6 of them must reside inside the city limits. 1 may reside outside of the city limits. So 2 of your candidates that are in front of you tonight do reside outside of the city limits. So you could not appoint both Janine and Raymond, Janine Dilly and Raymond Akers, because they both reside outside of the city limits. So I just another point of clarification about what who the candidates are and what those kind of provisions for service are.
Okay, thank you.
And I know some questions came up about why we have somebody that serves from outside of the city limits. I can't answer the why because that was established many, many years ago, but I can tell you that for at least the past nearly 30 years, I'm not going to say her first name correctly, Glaya Baker served in that as the planning commission. Jackie was saying she thought for well over 20 years. And then more recently, Jacob Kane served in that role from outside of the city limits. And interestingly enough, they both served as chair of the planning commission.
All right, so you have your task at hand. Vote for position 1 and vote for position 7.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
how would you like me to vote?
Probably through chat or text. If you don't feel comfortable with chat, you could text message Mr. Hammond. It would be up to you, I would think. What do you think, Brenda?
I don't mind putting it in chat. I just wanted to make sure that I had a path so that I don't do it wrong.
You have 4 people to choose from. And if you just put the position 1 and position 7, I think that would be important to clarify. Who you would like on position 1. Position 1, do you have the ballot? Do you have a copy of the ballots or a way to see the ballot?
I do not.
Okay, so position 1, term ends 12/31/25.
Okay.
And position 7 ends 12/31/24. So that might influence how you want to vote as well.
So I don't have the exact spelling of the people's name, but if I get close, will that work?
That will work.
Okay. All right,
Way
I
to
will
be
vote.
sick and not present, and way to cop out of a meeting and.
Okay, I'll try.
Okay, do you know the names?
I know the names of the people that I read about today that I would like to get the positions.
Okay, so Raymond Akers,
Yes,
Jamie Carberry,
yes,
Janine Dilly,
yes,
and David Landstrom.
yes.
Janine and Raymond are in the county, outside the city limits. Maybe that's a better way to say it, outside the city limits.
Okay. And position 4 ends in 2025 and position 7 ends in 2024. Is that correct?
Position 1.
Position 1, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
1 and
position
7.
1. Yeah, 1 and 7.
1 and 7. Okay, I'm on it.
Hey, thank Oh. Voted two on one page. Don't do that.
It says that we have to vote for two.
It says.
It says to vote for two.
Yeah,
But one per page.
one per page.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, I
Yeah,
do the same thing, because that's what it's saying.
Okay, I've placed my vote. I think Mr. Stoko should be able to see it.
okay.
Okay.
All right, I'll collect them.
You have to turn on the side.
Yeah. What's that? There's your first.
This is, no, this is.
Yeah.
No, this is- Wherever you see. You can see the plan.
That would be right. There.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, you mentioned that those were my two votes.
Okay. That's probably what I did.
Like soccer.
Oh, that's what it was. And we thought we were going it the easy way, right? That's simple. Okay, so we'll go with position one. If you're gonna keep tallying for me, since I'm having a real hard time.
Sure.
Okay, Councilor Pettigrew, Jamie Carberry. Richard Rockwell, Jamie Carberry. Christine Cuevas, David Langstrom. Kiefer. Jamie Carberry. Profit, Janine Dilly, I don't know why I have that. Ethan Salata, David Landstrom. And Heather Baumgartner, David Landstrom. Do we have a tie?
So, yes. Jamie Carberry has 3 and David Landstrom has 3.
How can that be?
Janine Dilly received the vote.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
One person.
So. We need to revote to finish, to fix that, right? Okay.
We have a second set of ballots for this reason.
Yes, but, okay, so
Oh, that's right.
if the next set of ballots, if position number 7. If one of the people get more votes on number 7. See, we don't know, okay, let's just say that Dilly gets.
Oh,
On
so we
seven.
need to probably, so you're
on
saying
seven.
we should find out. Here, because if she gets 2 votes on, more votes on this, then we got a winner on this one,
Mm-hmm.
because Gilly wouldn't.
And so if it's not the same person, we're okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
yeah, another option might be to have a little bit of discussion to determine if you want to fill one of the positions from an out of city person. And if you do, then pick which position you would want that to be and make that choice between the two outside of the city limits people, Janine Dilly or Raymond Akers. It just might be a way to facilitate an easier process.
but we don't
As-
have, the results of the others yet. We haven't tallied the results of the other one.
Okay. So it's hard to know what's going on when you're not there in person, sorry.
Yeah,
I'm just making that.
so why don't we just tally the second one and then we'll make it work. Okay, so Keeper had David Landstrom. Prophet David Landstrom. Salata Raymond Akers. Baumgartner Raymond Akers. Pettigrew Janine Dilly. Richard Rockwell, Jamie Carbray, and Christina Cuevas, Jamie Carver.
Three-way tie there.
Yeah. All right, so we'll have a run on again, so we'll use your ballots. We won't get them all mixed up.
We're only voting for the three that have the top.
So we got the 3 and the 2. So we got two ties, great.
And the second one you read was number 7, position 7.
Position 7.
All right, so this is position 1 ballot, and you're only gonna be voting between Carberry and Landstrom, I believe it was. Okay.
Carberry Dilly, wasn't it?
No,
Carberry and
We'll get it narrowed down.
Mayor Keeper, does Brenda know that we're voting for the Barbara?
I think she does, that's why she's laughing.
Okay.
Did you hear Mr. Hammond there, Mrs. Prophet?
No, I missed it. I'm sorry. I'm smiling because
Okay.
I know that there's something I'm supposed to hear, but I don't
Yes.
understand.
We had a tie on position number 1. Jamie
Okay.
Carbray and David Landstrom, so you need to choose one between David and Jamie. And we had a tie in the other one as well, so you're gonna have to cast a vote as well.
So I've said my first vote in.
Okay,
Brandon wants to say something.
No, I was gonna.
Okay.
so we'll announce the results of the vote for position 1. Ethan Salata, David Landstrom. Heather Baumgartner, Jamie Carbray. Karen Pettigrew. Jamie Carbray. Keeper Jamie Carbray, Richard Rockwell, Jamie Carbray, and Christina Cuevas, Jamie Carbray.
And one more, Counselor.
And then Brenda.
Brenda Prophet was David Landstrom.
Jamie Carbray with 5, David Landstrom with 2.
Okay,
We're breaking three-way tie. Who's our three-way tie for?
It was Raymond Akers, Jamie Carbray, which we will take off,
Eliminate.
Yep.
and David Landstrom.
Raymond and David. This one.
No.
Oh, I'm the-
No.
Yeah.
Doesn't one of these have to be, a county has to be between Janine and Raymond, correct?
No.
No, not on this, okay, I just want to.
Have to fill.
No, we don't have to, okay, that's what I want to be clear. So.
I'm a little confused about who the tie is between for the second position.
it's, who was it?
It was
Raymond Akers.
between Raymond Akers, Jamie Carbray, and David Landstrom. We're taking Jamie out because she was selected as position 1.
So it's between Raymond and David.
Raymond and David.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Pettigrew, Landstrom. Prophet, Landstrom. Cuevas, Landstrom. Salada, Landstrom. Baumgarter, Landstrom. Kiefer, Akers. And Richard Rockwell, Landstrom.
So David Landstrom with 6, Raymond Akers with 1.
So are we gonna do the appointments? They'll be appointed at the next planning commission meeting, is that? Carly, did they get appointed, they get sworn in at the planning commission, or how does that work?
So this is the first new planning commission member I've done since I've been on the job. So I guess I'll be leaning on Jackie for what that history has been.
So we traditionally have not sworn in planning commissioners because they're appointed by council, are not elected like you guys are.
All right, so the mayor will be appointing Jamie Carbray and David Landstrom, but with the consent of the council as our new planning commissioners. So welcome and congratulations. All right, so we're at the city meeting videos on website, social media. So we've had some discussion before, and since we have like a pretty new council, it's switched over. I was talking to our city manager, Mr. Hammond, about how is our views on city meeting videos and the website and the social media. So fill me in to make sure I'm talking about what you're thinking.
So prior to what was currently in practice, it has been that in order to request a video, you had to do a records request. The current practice right now is to post them. That was decided
Over a year ago.
August of 22, the council made a
As a
motion to post the videos.
So the discussion is, and I think it's appropriate discussion, is we're gonna continue with the video. But the question is, do we want it to be posted? Or do we feel that it's to be a records request? And that's where we're at, that's where the discussion is. What is our flavor is. It's gonna be videotaped, but if somebody wants the conversation or the meeting, then they're gonna do a records request. Or do we keep the status quo and do it the same that we are doing, that we'll just post it online? And I wanted to have some discussion, that's really what I wanted.
So we're having an open discussion.
Yep, we have open discussion.
Well, I think that if you're gonna, go ahead and videotape it. I would think it would be no different than if somebody wanted to attend a meeting, they couldn't because of work or life or whatever. And in most normal cases, they would be here anyways to watch it in person. So for me, I don't know if I have any problem with us just posting them. Because it's a normal meeting, why go through the process of a records request? That's my thoughts on that.
I'm kind of right there with you. Been doing it this long. Kind of made it a point to do that. All of the names that kind of be kind of weird, but for transparency purposes, just having it out there open, we said what we said, it's all there. So that's my opinion.
Mr. Mayor, I agree with Councilor Salata and Councilor Rockwell as well. just transparency. There's been a lot of controversy in regard to transparency, and I think posting the videos out there helps eliminate a lot of that. Taking them away now would appear like we were trying to hide something, and then doing a public request or public records request to receive that in. I think we should continue to post the videos.
I think also that if, say, all of a sudden, well, like the planning commission, but say all of a sudden I became interested. Then I can just go back and watch the other meetings without coming in and bothering lots of other people. You know, like it, to generate some interest. So I think probably just, and like Heather said, if we start doing it different. Other than, I hope our website looks better and it's easier to find those things on than, and Mr. Hammond says that.
I went through it today, it does look very clean, so. Website, it was,
I
hasn't been
have to
changed.
go.
I saw it change today. But when I went on my laptop, it looked different.
It's your laptop.
I don't know.
Anyway.
It looked
All
different.
right, so Mr. Rockwell, you're swaying off.
Yeah, sorry.
You just went with, Ms. Gregory.
And I just wanted to add that with, the advancements in technology and the trends, as far as communication goes. It would make sense that we continue to do this and access the technology that's available to us rather than, taking a step backwards. And I think that there is still a process, I think, for requesting records and things, but for the actual meeting, I think that it would make sense that if we have that capability to, transmit live, then that makes sense. Only because we have also had some of those discussions about the possibility of having, in the future, city council meeting, potentially at other locations as well, and just we want to be as accessible as possible to everybody.
All right, Brenda, do you have anything you would like to weigh in?
No, you guys all kind of said everything I can think of.
No. Thanks, Brenda. All right, so I really wanted to bring that up because the last time we had a discussion, the council was really split on it. And I just wanted to make sure that we were going in a direction to where we were all unified. So we'll go with the status quo and keep it the same. I appreciate the discussion because I think that's really important. Council rules, this is what we were working on a while back, Mr. Hammond.
Yep. If you pull open into the draft, I'll just go item by item that we discussed.
So if we have an opinion, do we state it or what?
Yes, sure, share it, because he will take notes and then we can. I don't need to answer for you, but I would say yes. I'm going to answer for you.
It's your meeting.
You're good. You're the boss.
Well, that's one of my questions. So
Yes.
let's move on.
Okay. The first one on the first page, or you scroll down to the title page. Thank you. Scroll past the title page. It was a request to add the purpose, so I added a purpose right there. The next item was to add some wording, and I did that on the very next page, or added the word may unless otherwise specified by the council. Okay. If you, on 3.8, I did change that to remove the recorder, and that was just to inform for missing a meeting. Okay.
Yep.
On the next page, 4.1. Oh, I just added the word chair, may direct specific items. I think it said the mayor or the city council. I think right now it's been the mayor. is what we've had.
And so why did you change it to chair?
So chair is specified in this wording as whoever is in
Charge of.
In charge of the
which
meeting,
can
so
be the council president or the mayor. In chair everywhere, that's what that is. It's the mayor or the council president.
so we could use mayor instead of, or chair instead of mayor or council president.
Correct. That was, yes, that was the.
Because chair means both.
Correct. Okay, if you look at 4.2, that is the exact wording for our agenda that we pulled up. I changed consent agenda right there, put approval of minutes and financial report. I then put other public comment under other business. There was discussion about moving executive session.
Extensive discussion.
Yeah.
We talked to a lot of people.
Yep, and then we decided to keep that there.
Because moving it really didn't make a difference on where we could have executive session.
Correct.
So why change it if you can always just move it?
And there are rules in here that allows the mayor to make any adjustment to the schedule.
To the order of it.
Yeah, to the order of it.
If you have questions
Yeah,
while he's
please.
discussing, interrupt. Miss Karen, Miss Pettigrew, it's not Karen, it's Mrs. Pettigrew.
I don't think we should have financial under consent agenda. Two things.
Okay.
If I approve it. Okay, you know why.
But I did check with other city managers and they do approve financial reports.
So
We can have discussion in our
And
consent
and
agenda.
it totally is up to you. I have checked. I know. I was gonna call, I'm pretty sure in every school district I've been, they approved the financial report, and then I checked with the city manager in Hermiston, and they've always approved the financial report, but totally.
Question.
Yes, Ethan.
Go ahead.
Out of curiosity, what would be wrong with approving the financial report?
the what?
What's wrong with approving the financial report?
Usually, if you approve it, that means that if you've actually looked at
I
it,
know what you're talking about.
someone has done a presentation. And you know the figures are correct, and we don't do that until the audit is
The
presented.
approval is the word, the approval of.
Yes, and so we've always did an approval of it, but I think,
The language. The language
I mean,
of
I don't
approval.
care, we can have it under consent agenda, and I'm still gonna bring it out every time in the meeting and ask questions,
Oh, and that's fine, yeah,
so.
and that's what it is. I think we should change approval of the minutes. I think we should change the language of approval of the minutes. We're not approving of the minutes. What word could we use? Just mission,
No, I think approval.
Oh, approval, I was thinking approval of financial report, sorry.
I've got you.
Whether approval of minutes, why, okay, I'm totally lost, sorry. I was thinking.
Well, see, we could, if you wanted to, you could say that,
Because typically when you do a consent agenda, you say, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
right,
So so for some reason, I was thinking approval of the financial report and not the approval of the minutes. I don't know why I missed that. Maybe because I was thinking about 10 other things, but so the approval of minutes, you don't like that?
I'm okay with the minutes there, I don't want the financial.
We're not approving the financials though.
Do whatever you like, because I'm gonna do whatever I.
If you have the consent
I have a
agenda,
question, if I
you would
might.
say,
Yes, Brenda?
At the workshop, I don't recall that we came to consensus about whether or not to have a consent agenda or just to leave it the way it was. So
No,
are
we
we,
didn't.
this is not, yeah, this is the discussion, this is the coming back, that's all.
Yes, this was just discussion, so we kind of put it in there just as a talking point.
Yep.
To where we're gonna 86 the consent agenda or keep it in there, or take something out of the consent agenda or not.
Correct.
That's kind of where we're at with this right now.
I just had
I know that I know the language exists for us to say if there's something in the consent agenda that we want to pull out separately, we can request that at any point at any point. However, I want to go back to the meeting. Is it those 2 or 3 things that we approve and discuss and vote on? Don't take that much time out of the meeting and really don't expedite anything to make a consent agenda more efficient for us. Possibly if we were the commission, that would be different for us, but our workload in terms of minutes and financials are not terribly long.
Well, if I had my choice, I'd put the police report, the building report, the public report, and committee report in there as well. But I chose to not include those in there.
I was just gonna add, you know, for maybe the public, just to know what a consent agenda is, so they know what we're talking about.
Thank you.
Not everybody knows, like at our workshop, I had to look it up because I didn't know what you were talking about, so I looked it up. So I think it would be important to mention that, that's all.
So a consent agenda is just a way of summarizing, putting several items into one location. So instead of saying, like today, we had approval of the regular meetings, approval of the council workshop, you would just say, I make it a motion to approve the consent agenda, and the regular meeting is in there, the council workshop is in there. It's just a way of putting them all together, Chad.
And another reason why I was talking, this is kind of my thing that I was pushing, is our whole packet is online and the consent agenda would be online. So it's not that we're hiding anything, it's less discussion so everybody can see what's out there. So when you go to the school board meeting, I don't mean to call them out, but when you go to a school board meeting, they do the consent agenda. You have no idea what's in the consent agenda that they're talking about. So what I wanted to do was, if we're gonna do an agenda, our packet, everything that's public information would be on our website, so that before you came to our meeting, you could print out our packet that we're looking at right here, so you can see and follow along everything that we're doing. That's online now, and that's really cool. So the consent agenda would be, okay, yeah, we're gonna streamline that, but the consent agenda is still online to where you can see what it is. So if we went with the consent agenda, I prove, you know, the consent agenda, there's no discussion, you can click on there and say, here's what they were talking about. Here's the minutes, here's the financial reports, things like that. That's kind of the idea behind that. I'm not set in stone on the consent agenda because I'm at the flavor of the council and what they think is important. I mean, I respect everybody here, but if we don't think a consent agenda is needed for us, we don't need to have a consent agenda.
I wanted to add to that, with what Ms. Pettigrew was saying. Just because it's in the consent agenda doesn't mean that we can't individually decide to request that be pulled out and then have a discussion about it. And I think what Mayor Kiefer was saying as well is that it does allow the public as well during public comment to also bring up things that they have seen that were posted publicly as well, that were included in the consent agenda.
So what do we want to continue to go with it, or we want to not have one?
So are we saying that you can't post those things without it being under the consent agenda?
No,
Okay. So
we're gonna keep.
So
We
then
can
it's just
either
a
keep
language
it
difference.
Excuse me, say what? We're lagging.
Sorry, and it's probably me too. What I was thinking was, so if we're posting the minutes or we're posting them as part of the consent agenda, then it doesn't really matter, does it? The only thing we would be doing is speeding up the course of the meeting.
That's really all it is. That would be if we felt that it would speed it up, or if it wasn't even worth dealing with. That's where we're at. Do we want to keep our agenda the way we have it? Or do we want to add a consent agenda in there let's try it and see how it goes, and if we don't like it, we don't do it, or we just don't do it at all.
So
That's
I,
kind of
the
where we're
only,
talking.
the only thing I can add to this conversation is that the library board does a consent agenda. And often we just approve the consent agenda. We have the financials separate. We always do them separately. But when we do that consent agenda, nobody ever talks about what happened at the last meeting or goes back and double checks on anything. We just approve and move on. And so I don't know. I mean, I kind of appreciate that the city has really just detailed out each one of those. But whatever the whole council decides, I'm good with.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes,
I think this truly boils down to what we put on our website. If we're going to have the minutes on the website before our meeting and our packet, then that's a different story than having a consent agenda and coming in here and maybe well, similar to tonight, no one in the audience has a copy of the packet. I don't think. Okay, so they have no idea what we're talking about, and they have no idea what the figures look like. And that's the part I'm against on the consent agenda. If we are guaranteed to have our stuff on our website so that the public can look at it ahead of our meeting, then, because like you say, I can ask Marta, you know, to the questions I'd like to know from the financial statement.
but right now, with our packet being published, the
It's not,
financials should be there.
it's not.
So we started a couple months ago posting the packets, actually. We started posting them, I want to say,
June or July.
It's pretty tough to find them then.
maybe 3 months ago at least, we've been posting packets. The financials we have tonight actually were handed out just for the meeting and we put them in the packets. They did not make it online, but they will be posted tomorrow.
So,
So they can see everything that you guys see.
so maybe it's not even, maybe it's a moot point just to talk about the consent agenda, because we don't have as big of a thing as some other places. I'm ready to move on. I can 86 the consent agenda.
If we had a meeting every week, I can see where a consent agenda would be efficient.
Is that a motion?
No, it's just a direction. Consensus, take it off.
Sorry, I didn't know.
Yeah, go ahead and take off the consent agenda, which after, what, 20 minutes of discussion, we're just gonna keep our same agenda. Roll right along.
Okay, next page. Those are all new. 5.5, 5.6, 5.7, 5.8. That is the section that talks about the public comments. On the next page, 5.9.
Well, don't go too fast.
But I think you got a typo, don't you? 5.6?
Yeah,
Where?
Oh,
the first sentence, there's an extra S there.
Oh, that is a.
It's just a space.
An
additional space.
Is it supposed to be there?
Yeah, that might be a formatting.
That might be a full matter. Did we change it to, those two same versions? Okay.
So we got
Because it's
format
happened
issue.
both- it happened
Yeah.
both ways.
Mr. Mayor, may I make a comment in regard to 5.6?
Yes,
On the agenda where, under other public comments, where it talks about please complete a request to speak card prior to the meeting, and speakers may not yield their time and that they have a limit of 3 minutes. That's been on the agenda for as long as I can remember, that exact wording. So it's not new.
well, 5.5, I thought maybe said the same thing as like A under 5.6. Public comments will be allowed at every regular meeting of the council. Persons will be allowed to make comments on any item on the agenda or not on the agenda. Then it goes down to
Just gives a time frame.
Huh?
It just gives more in-depth.
Okay.
The
Okay.
time frame, identifying themselves.
And then 5.7 states what our agenda says.
And I guess 8 is saying that the council, us cannot discuss topics.
When we talked about this originally, the discussion was this was a little more in-depth than our.
Right.
current one.
Okay, I'm good.
Okay. 5.11. 5.11, thank you to Counselor Salata for finding that. That is adding, there was discussion of doing a 50%, getting a little more clarity. So that just is a little more clear compared to the one that we had. Because it talks about what a quorum is. This is what a quorum is. This is what it means, and it doesn't always have to be, if there's a vacancy, well, that isn't a part of it. It's still just half plus one, so. Okay. And again, 5.12 is what you asked me to add in with the conflict of interest. Okay. All the way to 8.3, those two items were brand new, we just had items 8.1 and 8.2, so they added 3 and 4. Okay. Yep, and then on 9.3, I changed the complaints regarding staff to go directly to the city manager. That is in the count, that was just clarifying. Okay. And then the very last one on 12 point. We had a 12.1 and a 12.2, and the consensus was to combine them to this. So it summarized 2 into 1, gave a little more clarity.
In case the counselor, the audience didn't know, we were going over our rules that we follow as council. To be able to, they needed updated. The next thing that we're gonna be working on will be our, our city, our charter that will, that is voted on by the citizens of Boardman. And what was it, last time it was updated, it was 1985. And so we're gonna be updating that, next. So I just, this would be something that we post online too, wouldn't it? Our council rules, I think that would be a good thing to post.
Actually, an ordinance, it will go in our municipal code.
Cause I was looking, I know other places had it on, I couldn't find it on our, website either. I was struggling on finding it, and then I was like.
Yeah,
It's
it's an ordinance.
I know it's in there somewhere because every other city had it, so I figured ours had it somewhere hidden.
You know, it might not actually be in the municipal code. It might be one of those ordinances that are not a law.
But it was easy to find the charter.
It's in the shared file. If you go to the shared.
We
file,
don't have. We're gonna have to.
Heard that enough.
Certainly posted on. We certainly.
I thought that would be a good, at least maybe where the charter is, because it was really easy to find the charter. There was a link, and I can't, there was a link right with the charter. Yeah, right where the city councilors were, there was a charter right there. Boom.
Yes.
And I was like, whoa, that was easy,
We can try.
but
We can try.
just look into it. Yeah.
I swear it was updated.
All right, so we're gonna probably look at, doing, you know, voting on it in December.
Correct. Is there any more directives from the council or?
I thought it looked pretty good.
No, it's, looks good, looks updated.
So my only question. And this. Once again, just being.
What number?
I'm trying to get zero.
Well,
It had to do with okay, so otherwise specified. Up here. 3.1. The unless otherwise provided, regular meetings may be held in council chambers or in the hall unless otherwise specified by council. To me, it just didn't seem, it didn't read right. But that's very well could just mean, but it was just the unless otherwise provided, and then again, unless otherwise specified. So having both of those just kind of.
Do you want me to say unless otherwise?
Like it's a run-on sentence.
More or
I
less.
think
like-
there's a double, I
It's
think there
redundant.
may needs to be a will. So
And I,
unless otherwise provided, regular meetings will be held in the council chambers at the ordinance and hall.
so when we talked about that, the language of shall is too much, that's why I put it as well. Or may.
I think the confusion is, it says unless otherwise provided, and then it says again, unless otherwise.
That's what I said, I
specified.
think it's like a run, it's like a run-on sentence, it's repeating itself.
Doesn't read right.
The beginning needs to be removed and then.
Yes,
Start with regular meetings may be held.
yeah, just take out the unless otherwise provided, just take that out. and
Okay,
then-
Nancy.
Regular meeting, start that sentence.
Yeah.
I'm glad it wasn't.
So start with regular meetings may be held unless otherwise provided.
Correct. Unless otherwise specified, but
Thank you.
Any other questions or discussions?
I think Twitter has changed their name to X. I don't know if you know what it is.
oh, that's true, they did.
Yeah, they did.
But you still have to type in Twitter in order to get to it. That's what's weird, yes. It makes no sense to me.
But it does say at the end of it, for all types of social media accounts. So,
Yeah.
You added it to true
well,
instead of all other.
Where was Twitter? I remember seeing that. Was that on?
Your last one.
Thank you. Do I have to change that to X? Is that really what it?
I don't know.
Formally known as?
No, it just says. Probably.
Okay.
AKA.
And it says that in 8.3 and 8.4.
I think it's covered though, it says all forms of electronic communications media, so even if there was a name change, but it's the same website, it would still be considered.
just be, thank you, but just Twitter technically capitalized. It's named to government.
It is.
Yeah, it's not, the typo spelling and all that, Nancy.
I mean, you could just take them out if it was a big discussion and just leave social medias and all forms of electronic communication.
Yeah.
That's true.
Social media includes all forms of.
No.
life.
I think that includes social medias and all forms of electronic
Thank
communication.
you. Thank you. Is that what you would like me to do?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And we're removing consent agenda, correct?
Correct. All right. We'll move on. Police report.
And I have a minute, thanks for your consideration and your time tonight. There's not a magic line between city limits and just outside city limits. We're all Boardman, so, decisions you guys make are benefit or hurt us on the outside just the same as it does inside the county, so. Or in the city limits, so appreciate your time and have a good evening.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you for
Ranger.
coming.
Thank you.
Police report.
You should have in your packet the month-end report for October. Again, another record-setting month for calls for service or total incidents. Highest that we've been in many years. I probably want to point out that since January of this year up to October 31st, we've had 38 DUI arrests in the city of Portland. That's just Portland police. That doesn't count Morrow County Sheriff or Oregon State Police. Those numbers are staggering high. As I told you earlier, our DUIs were really bad. They're really bad. So we're going to continue to do DUI enforcement. Our hit and run accidents.
That was what I was gonna talk
We've
about.
had 20 hit and run accidents that have been reported since the first of the year. A good majority of are probably alcohol related or drug related. I would say a good majority of those are probably along that line. Just to give you a little bit of information, most of the DUIs were males. We had 2 females that were arrested for those. And the age range, they go from anywhere from a juvenile to 50 plus, but the average was 18 to 39 years of age. Scary numbers.
Out of curiosity, has that average number changed? Like at all since you've been here, or has that kind of been the average? For however long you've been here, like for the DUIs, the age range?
Oh, no,
Has that changed a lot? Or
The age range probably is gonna be standard across the board. What has changed is the DUI arrests. The sheer amount of DUIs, we've never arrested 38 people in a year for DUI, and we're not even done with the year yet. That number is extremely high. That started, probably end of COVID, mid-COVID maybe.
That was what I was thinking is, a lot of things regarding drug and alcohol has changed since. I would be interested to see the stats pre-COVID, post-COVID, to see how the world is reacting to what's going on.
Well, it's really hard to tell, to judge that based on a world type conversation, just because I'm sorry, Brenda's asking to be you.
Yes, Brenda, you are excused.
Thank you. I haven't felt well, so I appreciate that. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Part of the problem with the nationwide number would be different because Oregon has criminalized or decriminalized narcotics, so those numbers are included in your DUI. So fortunately, there's a lot of push before the legislature this year to try to change ballot measure 110 when it comes to narcotics, and maybe they can fix that. We'll have to see. We're taking it pretty serious. We're paying overtime for DUI enforcement to try to get these folks off the road before they kill somebody. So,
Might ask a question. Would it be wrong to maybe see what I mean, and you may have already done this, you may already know the stats, but what would be our neighboring towns? Are they dealing with the same exact kind of increase since, you did mention pre-COVID, post-COVID as possibly why our numbers have jumped? Maybe Umatilla or some other.
I wouldn't tell you that I've contacted Hermiston or Umatilla and say, hey, what are your DUI numbers? I haven't done that. But at regional and state meetings, that has been a topic of discussion, and that we are seeing more of that across the state as a whole. But I think there's several contributing circumstances or issues to this, ballot measure 110 being one of those.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Any other questions for the police report?
I have just one more question on this. Statistics that you gather, do you break down the number of actual residents of Boardman versus out of town?
No.
Do you do, okay. No. Is it just primarily male, female? Do you do ethnicities?
Yeah, I can get into pretty specifics. I don't know that this is the proper time to do that.
Okay, I was just wondering if that's part of the data you gather.
When we're trying to target, because we have so many different calls for service and as you look, we've got 22 misdemeanor arrests. That could be a wide gamut of things. It's not just the DUI arrest. So what I'm targeting, the information I'm looking at with the DUIs right now, because it's such a problem, I'm trying to gather more statistics to try to get more information as how we're going to address the issue. To try to break that down even more takes a lot of time. It took I'm gonna hours to gather just that information you just gave here. So.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll go to the building department report.
Mr. McIntyre?
I'm here. Yeah, I don't have the report in front of me. I forgot to bring it home with me. But does anybody have any questions? Jackie, can you chime in?
So, yeah, you'll notice that our commits went up a little bit in October. We're a little bit busier. We're starting to see a little bit of a slowdown. We've got a couple big projects going on, but I think things are slowing down now this season. But I was surprised our numbers were up.
Yeah, especially with interest rates.
Yeah, I think that's been hurting some of our contractors. I mean, they're
People
still
are
building,
still,
just
people
slow.
are still buying.
People are still buying, not as quickly as they used to. But, yeah. But.
Well,
you
I can say that our builders are no longer building anything spec. If they're building a house, it's a pre-sold.
Right.
But you can see for the year, we've got 31 new homes for the year of Boardman alone. 8 manufactured placements.
The biggest frustration is that we're not growing. We're just not growing. That's so hard. I mean, when I look at all the building that's coming, I mean, over by the port, that alone is gonna hold how many thousand people?
I think the apartments are 144 units. And
Only
then
144 total?
144 apartments. And then there's like 100 lots altogether. So I don't know, another 98 individual.
So even if I put 5 in each one,
Yeah, I don't do math.
So looking at like.
They said
1,200
there'd be no
people.
math.
So you're gonna have, so right now, the Port View apartments, just the Port View apartments have the capability of 1,000 people, and they're full. They're overfull, there's a waiting list. So
and I'm just like,
our numbers have gone up, we just don't get those through Portland State.
right, and somehow we have to get that census, be able to help with that census, and, you know, you travel around around to the new manufactured home plan, with the homes out there, and you drive around and you're just like, you know, apartments that are coming up even over by the fire station and other places, and I'm just like, we have people that live here, but they're just not accounted for.
Yeah.
And you see it every day driving up and down our street. And you just know that there's lots and lots of people here. I mean, it's got good things and it's got bad things, but we are just growing, and our numbers are showing, our data, let's put it that way, our data, school talk there, data is showing it. We just don't have the final number to show it. Any other questions about Public Works Department? We got Public Works Department. Looks like they've been busy.
Yes, we have. I'm like, when I forgot my, I don't have it in front of me. But. Yeah. If there's any questions.
Do you anticipate the meters the new meters being installed slowing down when it starts getting colder?
No, I don't, but we do have getting some meters at this point. And we haven't been given a date, getting any more of we have the meters, but not the smart points, the radio part that we need. So that is,
Gotcha.
once we get it, we'll keep
Moving right through it.
Put it in until we get done.
Gotcha.
So how many are you? So do you have half your order?
No. We're out of, we can't put any more in at this point, so we.
Okay,
we
so
gotta keep the more order.
it says 167 radios.
Yeah.
And then it says replace 25 meters. Oh, I get it.
With the
You
bad
did the-
meters that the radios couldn't work with, so. On top of the radios, 25 meters, 25 of those meters came out, new meter went in, and the radio went in.
Right. So do I take the 25 away from the 167? That's what I was trying
Oh,
to figure
no,
out.
That's part of 167.
Okay, okay.
So we put 167 radios in. Plus whatever, okay, so it's over, that's really, we're closer to 200 radios, but we have nowhere to put in. On hand,
How many are we expecting more?
it's over 1,000.
So this could be a long
This
process.
could be a very long, it's been really long getting to this part.
It's a year so far
Yes.
or more.
But it's mostly because we're waiting for parts. is what you're
Huh?
saying.
It's always been.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just waiting for parts. It's been, yeah.
Which everybody's
Yeah,
dealing
of course,
with.
because we're first on the list to get more.
Yes, we've been there a while.
Yeah.
I got a question. So when we talk about streetlights, UEC provides a standard bulb, and if we want a better bulb, we have to buy it? Or how do we get a better bulb that's brighter, but safer? You know, so like,
For streetlights,
Like
Uh,
LED.
for streetlights?
yes,
You're talking
Brighter
LED.
and safer.
Better. So you want LED lights?
so like an LED light, so something that's brighter than what, because we know that our streetlights aren't the brightest.
So like, not to interrupt, but down where I live a few blocks from you. We live off of Donovan. There was a real dark space there and I think it was UEC or somebody came in and they put in a street light right there. And I think it might be the only LED. Down there. So ours is very bright.
We have one
Only one down there.
Yeah, but I think all the rest are like what you guys have, the kind of duller, the older ones.
What do you have to say?
I have to say that we have a lot of LED lights in Boardman.
Oh, we do,
And,
depending on where they're in various places.
Yes.
and how you're gonna tell is the light comes down like this and it's whiter and the others are
Yeah.
yellow and they go out
Yes.
like this.
Right.
And there's a lot of comment about those LED lights, they might be cheaper, but they only put a bright light just in a small area.
How about do you know why they put the blue out of the rest area?
Do not know why.
Do you know why?
Actually blue lighting at night, it does well for illumination and they can see, but it doesn't affect night vision.
That was what I was wondering, if it allows them to sleep better.
Well,
That's what I was thinking, it was kind of a mood light.
yeah, it's used in a lot of different places, so it's kind of interesting to see them start using it in rest areas. But it really is, it provides a different type of illumination. A lot of other areas have started putting in actually blue light in neighborhoods to prevent a lot of light pollution, but yet as people are walking, kind of like the one gentleman mentioned when he wants to get at the crosswalk, it really does illuminate the ground area very well, so that you can see where you're going but without creating a lot of light pollution.
So LEDs are smaller pattern
Yeah,
and they're cheaper?
you can see, well, they're cheaper to run power wise,
Oh.
see,
No,
but you can see when you drive. If you drive down an older neighborhood that has.
Columbia has an LED at the beginning.
And then it has all
Yes,
the old ones in between. That's
yeah,
what I was trying to say.
yes, and so you'll notice that one place will be pretty light. and the next place.
I
won't be
would say
so
ours is
wide.
really bright now.
But I think it's just a matter of calling, I don't know
They're
about,
putting LED in now, reflective lighting, so.
yeah.
So we don't have to pay for that, we just tell,
Well,
we
you
decide
can't
whether.
pay for it, but it's, you know, it's not a difference, I mean. It's charged with lighting.
Oh, okay.
And they're not gonna put in the old yellow ones.
No.
I mean, they're gonna be
Not an
LED. I don't know if we asked them about the ones that you were talking about being blue. I don't know if we
I
talked to them about that.
I haven't heard about it.
Yeah,
I just know I see them out there.
They'll only put in an LED light because of power consumption difference.
All right.
And those blue ones are.
oh, yeah, yes, for sure.
So I was just thinking, do we wanna, I mean. Is that something we wanna start doing, is making brighter lights going to LED, or when it goes out, then we put an LED in? That's all I was trying to do that.
When you get a lot, when you call UEC and want to light somewhere, they come down and look at it, and what determines the cost more so than the light. I mean, if you're getting a hole in the light, it's the wire to get there. That makes it cost more. You need ditch, farther, I mean, if it doesn't have power nearby,
I was just thinking, replacing our old light,
that would be a standard cost probably,
yeah, that's more what I was at, I mean,
There's lots of old ones.
yeah.
So the only thing, if I may speak, the only thing, so what Mr. Post was saying, if I got it right, is that light's too far away as it is, that he can't be seen at the crosswalk.
Yeah, so it really is.
Making that LED isn't gonna help at all.
No.
So that's what I was.
So you would need something specific there.
Yeah. You have
So more, and then part of the next light for the cost.
And Mr. Mayor, I can tell you that there is a pole with a light on it in the food park and it's solar. So it has a little solar panel on top, so it uses even less electricity, but it's pretty bright stuff.
Any other questions for the public works? City manager report.
Just to bring up again, another grant update, number 6, we were awarded the 250,000 small city allocation. I did attach the award right at the very end. So, I mean, almost $500,000 that we've gotten from ODOT. So that small city grant is gonna go for the Columbia Avenue project. The other thing, I went to Sam Boardman today, Windy River, Riverside, it is now posted, the flyers are out, I was able to visit with the elementary kids in 2nd and 3rd grade. Talked with the other schools and they'll disseminate the papers, so. The thought is to have. I can go to the schools and collect them, that they can bring again their applications, their motto to the city. When I get a collection, I'll send them out for you guys to review, look at. The thought that I had was to announce the winner at the next city council. December 5th, it would be kind of fun, something before Christmas. Again, we're gonna have the 4 winners, Sam Boardman, Windy River, Riverside, and Community. We're gonna have gift cards for these. And then the grand prize for who is selected will be a $300 cash prize, engraved like trophy and shirts for the family that have the military motto. So.
I wanna see the trophy before you order it. I don't want you to get a janky trophy.
No, I want to get like the laser or anything. Pretty cool.
Okay. You are an elementary principal. Or were.
The other thing is, so I know we talked about this and we kind of tabled it. There is the thought, we might be moving the recycle bins to the end of Tatone. Just to see if it mitigates anything with the dump, with the leaving the trash. So we are looking at that, seeing the spacing, it would be, again, a loop. We wouldn't officially move anything, I know we talked about that until we did the Oregon Trail road, and then we would make something more permanent, put a little
like
asphalt
taking it right over
structure
here.
like over here.
Right there.
So again, it's more visible, it's right by the PD. Again, it's just an eyesore, it really is unfortunate that you have these bins and you can't even recycle them because they're full of trash. Thank you for the council rules, really, that is great, I love the fact that Mayor Kiefer also talked about the charter update, I love that concept too. So thanks for your time, I think it is more concise, getting more information, being, again, what was brought up in the council, just being more transparent, what we're trying to do. And then on the second one, the safety update really is going well. Just, take that very seriously, that when you have the guys out there, you want to make sure that they're safe, they're trained. And the goal is, I believe I'll have it done by April. With all the procedure updates, with all the training that they need, so. That's it, any questions?
You end up figuring out a good place to get the training from?
Yep.
We talked about it, but I'm sure it's figured it out.
Yep, we'll do some in-house, and then, the fire department helps us with CPR, first aid, stuff like that.
So, on your list of things you're keeping track of,
Yeah, Boardman projects.
it's the carrot, company.
Oh, yes,
What,
help one,
how's that going?
really good, Rob.
Yes, going well. The lift stations, the normal, the numbers have come back down to normal. So they got it cleaned up pretty well.
Okay.
That was a big deal.
It was,
I don't know what you're talking about.
well, when they first started up, we were getting lots of dirt and Boston carrots through their system. They have been dumping it into the city sewer.
Oh, a plant has?
Yes.
Yeah.
About 100 gallons a minute. For, I don't know, 14 hours a day. And when they first started, it was supposed to be the mud in the lift station. And so since then, they put in 8 filters, 3 big water tanks to let it settle. And it's cleaned it up, I mean, enormously.
So they were good to work with.
Oh, yeah, they worked real hard at it, so.
Any other questions?
That it?
Okay, we'll go to council comments. Any council comments?
Comment would just be thank you to the people that are here. Be part of planning commission. So it was fun being on planning commission with experience, but I believe this is more fun up here.
Was this your first and a half meeting?
It is.
Actually, second.
Second, because it worked out.
It would be second.
I would like to say thank you very much again to the city. So.
Any others? I only have one comment, which is a direction as far as decorations. Really? You didn't think I would remember?
No, I didn't say that.
You had that look, yes, so we're gonna direct the city to put up lights. Sorry, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, actually. Good. And how's our budget looking for, do they have things to put up?
Yeah.
Nice things.
You're leaving it up to public works employees, so they go through what is there and they put up what they want, where they want, you've just given them that direction, so.
So if you see something that you think you might need, revert to the city manager. He's in charge of the budget. Well, spending the budget. And I have nothing else, so this meeting is. What?
I want to know if we're gonna have a Christmas party this year, because I don't see,
That was under council comments.
Huh?
That was under council comments.
I'm a counselor.
Yeah, but we're pastor, you didn't say anything. You just, but go ahead. Ask your question, because that is an important topic.
December 15th.
So, our city clerk is gonna be in charge of the final details of the Christmas party.
December 15th.
And, she started yesterday. No, why she hasn't gone to that already, but you should get it by email this week. Your RSVP and everything, but if, just save the date, it is December 15th.
The mayor will not be here. The mayor will be in Hawaii.
You say that all the time.
No, I actually going because he goes.
Second home.
No, I've been to Hawaii one time in 1990. Was it 90? Yeah, it was. You know, 90. When did we go? 90? Yeah, we were newly married. So I will not be at. Who chose that date?
I don't think you get a choice.
Yeah, it's really, there's not a lot of options.
That's a
It's
great date.
really hard to get a date
That's all
from
I'm saying.
work. And they have so many employees, they have to do 2 Christmas parties now, so. They
We
pick
have
up
to pick
2
a date,
Fridays,
or they have to
so,
pick a date.
yeah.
That's a bummer.
Well, they're doing theirs the 1st and the 8th, I think is
Yeah.
what I was told.
Mhm.
Well, that's why I asked, is because I saw it on their thing and I thought, oh, I haven't heard anything
Yeah.
about it.
I'll zoom in.
Everything's basically planned.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
What, do we know what time yet for that, or are we gonna get?
You'll get that this week, in the email.
Thank you.
They'll write it.
But we are set for December 15th.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
I-
All right. Gotcha. Thank you.
Do you know what,
Well, Chuck,
yeah, take the
are
call.
you, are you finished? I don't mean that in a big way.
I know you do.
Any other comments? This meeting is adjourned.